Hey, what's going on, guys? I found a video today saying that Arkham City sucks, and considering it's my favorite game of all time, I took interest in it and I wanted to hear this guy's opinion. He didn't make very good arguments, and that's what we're going to be getting into today. And just as a reminder, so I don't forget to say this at the end, don't go sending any hate to this guy. At the end of the day, we're talking about video games, and it's really not that deep.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Topical Hour. Today we're obviously taking a look at Batman Arkham City, and this might be obvious, but this is one of the best games of all time. But what if that wasn't obvious? What if we took a look at this game that no one else is willing to? What if we were honest and just admitted that this game isn't very good? Yeah, that's right, this game's downright bad. Here's why. The story of this game is basically about Batman running around a city of supervillains and their gangs, mainly trying to stop the Joker, Penguin, Hugo Strange, and Ra's al Ghul. The first problem is Batman. Batman in this game is nothing like Batman in the comics.
Starting off strong with an adaptation argument, I see. Hopefully this doesn't just boil down to it's bad because it's different.
Batman in the comics is like if Superman was a normal dude. Yeah, obviously to criminals he's a paragon of fear, his stare is enough to strike fear into their hearts and all that. But he's also supposed to be a symbol of hope. In this game, he's really selfish, and by the end of the game, he doesn't even want to save all of the people in Arkham City, including the political prisoners and hostages. He literally just tries to gun after Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Almost like it's established earlier in the game that Bruce tends to prioritize Talia over everything else whenever she's involved.
Oracle, change of plan. I'm going after the League of Assassins.
Why? What have they got to do with all this? Oh, wait a minute. Is this about Ra's or his daughter?
Penguin had one of the League's assassins imprisoned in the museum. I recognize the insignia. She's a member of Talia's elite guard.
I knew it. What is it about that woman that makes her instantly the most important person in your world?
Talia is not the goal, Barbara. I've uploaded Freeze's unfinished cure. It looks to me like the answer is...
Found in Ra's al Ghul's blood. Okay, Bruce, I guess you need to go after him. But please stay focused. Don't let her get in the way again.
Saying that Batman in the comics is just Superman if he had no powers is incredibly dumb. Yes, they both stand for hope for innocent people. That doesn't automatically make them the same character, except that one just has powers and one doesn't. That's stupid.
It takes the Mad Lad himself, Alfred Pennyworth, to convince Batman that we should focus on saving everyone rather than the girl he's crushing on. I know it's just to show that Batman has a human side, but this is when he's like years into being the Batman. Arkham Origins would have been the time to show the conflict of saving all the bad guys ever or saving your girlfriend that just tried to kill you.
Talia al Ghul never tries to kill Batman in this game. What are you talking about? Also, you're acting as if Batman was just gonna abandon the people in Arkham City as soon as he got Talia safe, when no, he wouldn't have done that. He was prioritizing Talia to get her to safety first, then he would have stopped Protocol 10.
I actually like the idea of this, but it would have been a lot better in a game where Batman isn't as experienced. But in this game, Batman has fully trained both Nightwing and then Robin and even Oracle as Batgirl before she got shot. He's been at this for a while and has probably made sacrifices. In fact, Batman not caring about the lives of criminals is actually a huge issue in this game. In the beginning of the game, Joker says something about poisoning Batman with his contaminated blood. So Batman would have to find a cure to save them both. And Batman, in the coldest moment I have ever witnessed, just says, okay, fine, we're both going to die, I'm fine with that. This is before he even stops any of the criminals he's trying to stop. That's how little he cares about the people in this game.
Normally, I would agree with you that Batman is being a little out of character here, willing to let Joker die of his poisoning. But since you want to bring adaptation arguments into this, Batman in Batman Endgame was willing to let himself and Joker die as well, as long as it meant the city would be safe. So, if you like adaptation arguments so much and you think it should be comic accurate, then you shouldn't have a problem with this.
In fact, later in the game, he threatens to kill Mr. Freeze if he refuses to help him. Yeah, I'm not joking, he takes the only thing keeping Mr. Freeze alive and pours like half of it on the floor. And later in this same segment of the game, he actually genuinely kills Solomon Grundy.
Do I think Batman was being a little extreme with Mr. Freeze here? Yes. But you also have to understand that Batman is poisoned and is running on borrowed time. So it's understandable that he's taking extreme measures to try to get Mr. Freeze on board faster. And he didn't kill Solomon Grundy.
Now, obviously, if you don't know, Solomon Grundy is a literal zombie and is mostly unable to die, but Batman doesn't know that. He just kills him! And
He does know that.
I'm telling you, it's him.
It can't be.
It is. Look again. He looks big, right? He's gray.
This poster's gotta be over 100 years old. How can it be the same guy? And even if it was, how did Penguin get it?
I don't know, but I'm sure it is. It's even got a name.
Solomon Grundy?
Good job. That bug is immortal.
at the end of the game, obviously, he doesn't kill Joker. That'd be a stupid point to make. But I want you to look at me and say that Clayface actually survived being electrocuted inside the Lazarus Pit. You know what? I'll let this one slide. Maybe Clayface is still alive.
Considering he can survive his entire body being blown up, I don't think it's a stretch to say he survived.
But another problem I have with this game, why does Batman work alone? His excuse in this game is that Robin needs to stay in Gotham, and Nightwing isn't even mentioned a single time in the game's story. And honestly, this is a problem I've had with the entire Arkham series.
So you say it's a problem that he works alone, acknowledges the reason that he doesn't get Robin's help, and Nightwing isn't mentioned, so he's probably in Bloodhaven, and then proceed to say that it's a problem anyway. Okay.
There's always a flimsy reason that Batman can't work with others, and nobody even bothers to explain why the Batwing can't be used.
It's established in Arkham Knight that after Jason's death, Batman is extremely protective over the life of his allies. And how is the reason in this game flimsy? If Robin doesn't do what he does, then people in Gotham would have died. Also, you ask why the Batwing can't be used? It's used in every Arkham game. What are you talking about?
I know the Arkham games in general probably weren't ready to have two characters be playable at the same time, but come on. Just spend like 5 minutes coming up with a good reason, please. Also, some characters that shouldn't be in this game are in this game for no reason. Like, remember the security guard from the last game, Cash? Well, now Cash is just in Arkham City as a regular cop.
Cash explains why he's there in the game, and he's not just a regular cop, he's a security guard for Arkham City.
Thank God you got here, Batman.
After what happened at the asylum, I thought you'd settle for a quiet desk job.
Yeah, right. When Shark closed down the asylum, it turned out there wasn't much work for an ex-security guard who failed to stop a mass breakout. This is the only work I can get.
Jim Gordon gets most of his screen time in the DLC for this game.
This is a problem, why?
And Killer Croc appears as an easily missable Easter egg that serves no purpose other than being cool, which is actually fine. And then, there's the other playable character in this game who I barely mentioned. Catwoman. Also, this is just a reminder to subscribe if you enjoy. I promise not all of these videos are just taking what we love and shaming it. Thank you. Catwoman is an enigma. Almost nothing about her character makes sense, except for her fantastic voice acting. The way she travels around Arkham City makes no sense.
She uses her whip to swing onto things and uses her claws to scale walls. How doesn't it make sense?
And makes it seem like her whip is 4 times longer than it actually is. Her gadgets are pretty much useless. Her thief vision somehow mimics Batman's predator vision, even though they're just goggles.
Clearly they aren't just goggles if they're able to mimic Batman's detective vision.
Even story-wise, she doesn't make much sense. Batman does a lot in the span of the 10 hours that this game takes place, and all Catwoman does is escape being captured by Two-Face, find Poison Ivy, and then break into a vault with her. And then she helps Batman a bit at the end. It takes her 10 hours to do that.
Okay, you described what she did, now explain why it's a problem.
Granted, she's knocked out by an explosion at some point, but I feel like she wouldn't be out for more than an hour or two. This game does not make sense! If you ask me, the characters that should have been in this game are the ones that are from the DC universe as a whole.
Oh, you mean characters like Catwoman?
Imagine if Superman showed up in this game to ask what's going on with Batman's city. Or imagine if Green Lantern showed up. I mean, I guess that doesn't really make sense because they're really powerful heroes and don't really fit in with this story.
Why would they show up anyway? Hugo Strange is most likely covering up all the political prisoners he's keeping with some excuse, considering how smart he is.
But I still think we could have had something more than just Batman's rogues, and I think that they should have gone a bit deeper than just Batman's rogues. I mean, what if Captain Cold was in this game?
Why would Captain Cold even be in Arkham City? He doesn't live in Gotham.
Or maybe we can include more whimsical villains like Condiment King or Kite Man.
They wouldn't fit the more serious tone of the game.
Even some of the side villains that were in this game were a bit disappointing. I mean, all you do with Deadshot is just find his victims and then find him after finding all of his victims. You don't even really save anyone except for Jack Ryder. Zsasz is basically the same as he was back in Arkham Asylum, just killing people for the fun of it. I mean, I guess we get more of his backstory, but still, I want a little bit more.
You describe what you do in the Deadshot side quest without explaining what's wrong with it, and what more did you want from Victor Zsasz? We got more information about his character and backstory. What more did you want them to do with him?
He's just a bald guy with a knife. And take a look at Killer Croc and Calendar Man. People like those villains where they're just setting up the next game. Why couldn't they have made Hush an actual villain in this game rather than just making him a really small side villain in the next game?
Hush wasn't a bigger part of this game because originally he was supposed to be the main villain alongside Scarecrow in Arkham Knight until it got changed later in development when Paul Dini left.
But I think the number one issue is the fact that Joker is killed at the end of this game. I mean, seriously, why would you even attempt to kill Joker, especially when you know what you're probably going to be doing with the next game? And you also have to consider that Arkham Origins was about to go into development for 2 years. That does not make any sense.
A lot of Arkham Knight's story got changed after Paul Dini left, and as far as I'm aware, we don't know if Joker was going to be originally in it or not. Arkham Origins was a prequel pushed by WB when Arkham Knight needed more time in the oven than the other Arkham games. So chances are it wasn't even in development until Arkham City was already released.
I really admire the bravery behind killing the Joker, but it wasn't really thought out and it really only set up the DLC, not actually the next 2 games. And maybe it's foolish to even mention this, but Oracle is like barely in the game. She comes in halfway through when you're still trying to defeat Penguin, and she's not even in it that much.
She serves her purpose in the story, and as you're about to mention, she gets brought up a lot more during side quests. So I think the game does enough with her.
You only really get a lot of her when you're doing side missions, and only a few of them. But even aside from the characters, the plot of this game in general is pretty contrived. First, we have to save Catwoman from Two-Face because of something that happened between this game and the last game. But then Joker also tries to kill her. So Batman tracks down the Joker and finds out he's sick now. So Batman gets knocked out by a bat, which is already a stretch, but
He doesn't just get knocked out by a bat. Joker literally gasses him right beforehand, and we can see that his vision is blurry, and he's on his knees.
You!
Get out of my way, Quinn.
Leave us alone, B-Man! Just leave me with him.
I said move!
This is all your fault! You've hounded him for years, beat him to a pulp, and for what? Why are you so mean?
You fell for the old fake Joker gang, Batman.
Batter up!
the Joker also does not kill him, does not take off his mask, and gives him a rundown of the situation like a briefing meeting.
The Joker doesn't take off his mask because he views what him and Batman do as a game. And why would the Joker kill Batman here? He needs Batman's help. What are you talking about?
Get back here, Harley.
But I want to know who he is, sweetie.
No one's who you think they are, my dear. Why spoil the fun?
It was all a lie. There's nothing wrong with you.
Nice of you to say, but you of all people should know there's plenty wrong with me. Take my blood, for example. I wish somebody would. This stuff is killing me.
Why should I care?
Because now there's a teeny little bit of me in you too, Bats. Oh, come on. Don't tell me it's not what you always wanted. Look, we're running out of time. I need your help. I nearly had a cure. It was so close, and then it was taken from me.
So then, Batman goes and frees Mr. Freeze from Penguin's lair and gets him to make a cure, but he needs a special ingredient, but the ingredient also has to be from someone immortal, but luckily the guy we need to find has a ninja, that was captured by Penguin. So we get the guy's blood and we give it to Mr. Freeze, but he changes his mind and wants Batman to do something for him. So we fight him, and then Batman does it anyway. I genuinely don't know what's happening.
Not really convenient when it's explained later that Ra's al Ghul was working with Hugo Strange, so it makes sense that he's in Arkham City. And I thought you were describing the main plot of this game. Why are you bringing up a side mission? Not to mention, it also contradicts one of your points that Batman doesn't care about his villains, because doing something for Mr. Freeze, like saving Nora, means that he does care about his villains.
Anymore. But yeah, basically the ending of this game is just a big showdown between Batman, Clayface, and the Joker.
You just skipped over the entirety of the Wonder Tower section. That's a pretty big plot point in the game. Why'd you skip over it?
Talia is killed in the crossfire after it's revealed that Joker has been Clayface the entire game, well, at least halfway through anyway. Another complaint that I have is that the ending and finale of this game is really long, because it starts with Protocol 10 beginning, and then it shifts over to Catwoman's perspective, where she breaks into a vault and then comes back and saves Batman. At least if you choose the right ending anyway. Then we have to get some codes from a helicopter so we can get into the Arkham City management facility. We then climb Wonder Tower and defeat all the guards of Hugo Strange. But then Hugo Strange is killed by Ra's al Ghul and the building explodes, and Batman and Ra's al Ghul both jump out. And then Ra's al Ghul is killed upon landing while Batman glides down safely. Actually, Ra's al Ghul kills himself to spite Batman on the way down, and is then skewered on an Arkham City sign. This game's kind of brutal, by the way. Then Joker announces that he wants Batman to come over to the Monarch Theater, which actually makes a lot of narrative sense for Bruce Wayne, but it's never really acknowledged by the game's story. We take down a bunch of snipers covering the building, and then we head in to see Talia get shot, and then we fight Clayface until the end. The ending cutscene has Joker die and Batman carry him out of the Monarch Theater in a striking shot.
Okay, so you described what happens in the finale of the game, but not why it's bad. And just saying it's long isn't really a valid criticism, since being long doesn't automatically mean it's bad.
So yeah, the story and characters are both absolutely abominable and terrible.
You have done a poor job at explaining why they're abominable and terrible, though, so your opinion doesn't really hold any weight.
If there's one thing about this game that's pretty much impossible to criticize, it's the gameplay. I guess you could argue that they only improved on Arkham Asylum's style and mechanics, but that's a stupid argument. Nothing like what I've said so far. However, to deny that the combat is so improved, smooth, and satisfying is pointless. Yeah, Arkham Asylum made you feel like Batman, but this game makes you feel like Batman. However, I'm not done with my issues with this game. The remaster of this game has got to be on my list of top 5 worst remasters I've ever played. When you're actually gliding around, the frame rate dips to like half. The only good looking character model in the remaster is Mr. Freeze. Everything else is a downgrade. The only good change is the rain in Arkham Asylum, and that doesn't do much for this game.
Yeah, I can agree. The Return to Arkham remasters aren't great, especially compared to the Game of the Year edition of versions of the games, which I'm pretty sure are also cheaper, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I agree with you. The Return to Arkham remasters, they suck.
Looking past the remaster though, the base game has a terrible story, copycat gameplay from the first game.
Whoa, hold on. You just said about how criticizing Arkham City's gameplay because it takes the Asylum's gameplay and improves upon it is a stupid argument. So why are you making the argument here? You're contradicting yourself. And once again, you failed to provide actual reasons as to why the story is bad.
Incoherent and messy characters, and a terrible remaster. This game is the absolute bottom of the barrel when it comes to video games, and no one in their right mind would play it past the intro.
Considering the fact that you had to have played the game in full to know what happens in the story, what does that make you?
Batman kills people, Catwoman's whip is longer than the length of this game, and the remaster is comparable to throwing a cheaper coat of paint over the original.
Batman doesn't kill people, Catwoman's whip thing is a nitpick at best, and yeah, the remaster sucks.
So you might be wondering what the number score is. Well, it gets a 10 out of 10.
So basically the entire video was just clickbait. Got it. Alright, and that'll wrap it up for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.